Why are you here? What made you click on this video? Probably because you like to think different. I bet you don't like the idea of having the same motorcycle everyone buys. You are in a different category. You reached an evolved taste about motorcycles. And all this means you are in the right place. Because all this video has to show you is the best of the best. In other words, the most amazing custom motorcycles most people would love to possess. The fans of this channel spoke very loud on this selection. Almost 7,000 votes. And I am sure most of them are going to agree with the end results. Welcome to Racer TV. So, let's begin with a motorcycle built in only 2 weeks. Among all Royal Enfield Bullet 500 ever transformed, this one is definitely the most original, vintage, and beautiful cafe racer I've ever seen. It has a bit of everything of what most people usually appreciate. Clean lines, elegance, classic details, mixed with a modern twist. And above all, everything was tastefully done. According to its builder, this was a simple and inexpensive build. Having said that, try to imagine the magnificent project he could create, but with a very good budget. And he did it again. This custom builder managed to have a project in the top 10, just like on the previous selection. Curiously, also using a motorcycle with a 4-cylinder engine. This is a project that looks apparently simple, but in reality, it requires a lot of work to reach this point. The builder picked a common motorcycle from the 80s, improved the brakes, suspension, the exhaust sound, and created a magnificent and aggressive cafe racer. For the first time in many years, this is the first Triumph Thruxton to reach the top 10. And this means it is a very special Thruxton. The project's approach is relatively simple, but extremely effective. It is simple, clean, and very retro. It has some bobber flavor on the rear, but still looks cafe racer enough to my eyes. And now, a custom machine, which exists thanks to one man's dream. A talented man, who started working on cars when he was 12. The seat may not be on the cafe racer category, but it is really very original. I don't remember seeing anything like this. It also has a beautiful mini fairing. And curiously, it was made from a BMW R90's fairing replica. A very coherent design, which conquered a respectful place on this ranking. I already lost the count of how many times this builder has reached a top 10. And this time, it couldn't be an exception. This simple project is special because it proves it is possible to reach a beautiful cafe racer just by making the right changes. Everything you see here fits perfectly with the retro vintage theme. And this might be what made this project reach this honorable 6th place. If I had to define this project in one word, it would be athletic. And what do I mean with this word? It looks light, powerful, modern, clean, and aggressive. Paying attention to this stance, you will probably realize that you never saw another custom Virago like this one. For some reason, this looks young and fresh. Among all custom Viragos I've seen until today, this one is definitely my favorite. And it seems a lot of you thought the same, voting on this beautiful Yamaha Virago. Here is a very original and impressive project. The inspiration came from a very good question. How would a century-old Indian Scout be, using today's technology? And this is what the young and talented builder created. It may not be a real cafe racer, but if you forget this solo seat, it has almost everything that a real cafe racer should have. I recognize this project is not consensual. Some of you may hate it, but the big majority really love it. And the proof of it is seeing this magnificent Indian on the 4th place of the election. The futuristic lines on this motorcycle are simply unbelievable, especially when it is parked with the bottom sitting on the ground. Fortunately, it has pneumatic suspension, entirely made by this BMW's builder. Although it looks like a motorcycle that came from the future, it still has some neo-retro cafe racer lines. From all the 20 candidates of the election, I was absolutely sure this project would reach the top 5. It is so amazing that we almost think it is not real. The truth is, it is real, and it looks fantastic. Definitely a custom BMW that we will never forget. And now, the second best machine of this ranking. Without any doubt, this is really a very bold project. If you think this Honda is only impressive because of this flat 6 engine, that's because you haven't seen everything. When I said it is impressive, I meant it in every way. Impressive in what you see, and what you don't. The technical skills required to build this project are really on the top level. And this includes the majestic symphony of this flat 6 engine. Definitely the most bold project of this selection. But now, it is time to see the number 1. So, ladies and gentlemen, behold, the best cafe racer of 2020. What a beautiful motorcycle, isn't it? So simple, and so discreet. Precisely the opposite features of the 2 previous projects on this selection. This custom Honda has nothing to do with complexity or high technical skills. If there was a cafe racer dictionary, this project should represent the word cool. Because that is exactly what it is. One of the coolest cafe racers I've ever seen. But what is even more impressive is the fact that it is not exactly the work of a professional builder. The truth is, before this project started, the builder didn't have proper tools, didn't have a garage, nor experience with motorcycles. And even worse, not even a motorcycle driving license. But he had an enormous amount of passion to create a great cafe racer. And mixing this with a good dose of good taste, he managed to achieve this extraordinary result. Definitely an inspirational example of what many of us dream of reaching. I am sure that seeing this Honda as number one will not satisfy some of you. But I have to point out that this Honda is the absolute winner of this top 10 election. Because the difference of votes with the runner-up is huge. If you want to know more about each candidate's votes total, please check this video's description. You will be amazed by the small difference of votes between some of the candidates. This very cool Honda is the kind of project that can be appreciated by most people, including even a person who doesn't care about motorcycles. There is absolutely nothing on this cafe racer that is trying to grab people's attention. And that's what makes it look so cool. This Honda truly proves the best advice I know about custom motorcycles. Less is more. Thank you for watching Racer TV. And as always, I hope to see you in the next video.